Hey everyone, Scott here, founder and author of SANspotter.com, and today you've caught me in Paris checking in for Qatar Airways flight number 40 down to Doha. Long story short, this was the best business class flight of my entire life, which probably seems contradictory to the title of this video. But I promise it isn't clickbait. Let me explain. The Qatar Premium Lounge is, for the lack of a better word, formal. This is by far the nicest business class lounge I've ever been in, yet it was so nice that I was having flashbacks to being 6 years old again with my mother right there warning me not to touch anything. Or else. The buffet was amazing though, thanks to the kind chef who was there happy to explain everything in excruciating detail. After 2 hours of being on my best behavior in the lounge, I ventured out into the main terminal to hang out in the gate area for the flight to Doha. Frankly, I didn't even care that I had nowhere to sit because, well, when you're nose to nose with a Qatar A380, life is pretty good. One of the perks of being a Qatar Airways premium passenger? A dedicated boarding door away from the chaos and confusion of the general boarding queue. My good fortune was short-lived, however, as my GoPro crapped out on me as I was stepping onto the aircraft. You guys have no idea the horror I felt once I got to my seat and realized I didn't get the shot, and it was yet another flashback to being 6 years old and feeling an overwhelming urge to stomp my feet and cry. Maybe it would have happened if I was flying EasyJet, but this is Qatar Airways business class, and I went with the assumption that crying grown men are a distraction to other guests. I had no choice but to play it cool, so on with the review. This particular A380 isn't configured with Qatar's amazing Qsuite product, but these business class seats are impressive and more than adequate for a 6-hour flight. Legroom is pretty good, and the tiny footwell won't be an issue for most. My condolences if you're vertically endowed, though. Service started immediately after I sat down, and right away I was getting the sense that these Qatar cabin crews are something special. By the way, hot towels do a really good job of wiping away the tears caused by faulty camera equipment. Just saying. The dinner service on tonight's flight was presented by the flight attendants as dine on demand, and the process started by making a meal selection here at the gate. We also had to let them know what time we'd like to be served, and I basically went with the immediately option. If this isn't the best amenity kit I've ever received on an airplane, I don't know what is. The case is really nice, and I've got a suspicion that this will be one of those things that I'll unconsciously hold on to for the rest of my life because, well, it's just so dang cool. Hold on a sec, there's a flight attendant coming back in a few minutes to take my dinner order, and I'm having a bit of a hard time deciding what I want. Cabin service started exactly 10 minutes and 24 seconds after departure, which is a stat I'm only including to make it sound like I was paying attention and working on getting the best footage possible for this video. Honestly, this pineapple punch was a major distraction. The good kind, of course. Okay, so here's where things get a little bit uncomfortable again and slightly too formal for my humble tastes. The flight attendant came by with what I thought was just a linen for my tray table, and it was a very nice and typical presentation. Those things are huge, by the way. Finally, she very neatly prepared a second linen and placed it square in my lap. It was an awkward situation. I think I would have enjoyed a whole lot more if I knew it was coming. Oh well. Here's the appetizer that wasn't on the menu that was served before the actual appetizer. What is that called again? Anyway, check out this amazing table setting. If you're curious, I went with the chicken kielbasa. Although the flight attendant probably wouldn't have assumed that I was such a major wimp if I didn't have such a concerned look on my face when I asked if it was spicy or not. I took her word for it, and it ended up being an excellent main course selection. This is the lounge located at the rear of the business class cabin on the upper deck. More interestingly, there are about 10 rows of economy seats located directly behind it. I don't know, but it's gotta be torture to sit in economy and listen to rowdy business class passengers living it up at the bar. There's just 2 hours of flying time remaining, and am I right to assume that no Qatar Airways business class review is complete without a trial of the full-size blanket and lie-flat seats? Both were exemplary, by the way, proving that it's still incredibly easy to feel like a king or queen in the standard non-Qsuite configuration. As we descend into Doha, I just want to reiterate that this was a mind-blowing experience that I'm going to remember forever. However, I'm a simple guy with simple taste, and it was probably a bit too formal for what I was prepared for. I can't wait to do it again, though. Next time, I'm going to dress a bit nicer, raise my pinky a little bit higher as I'm sipping on my Chardonnay, and try not to look as if I'm about to get a root canal as the flight attendant lays that pristine white napkin so gently in my lap. Thanks again to this amazing Qatar Airways crew, and to the one flight attendant in particular who was kind enough to offer such great advice on things to do in Doha. And for those of you curious about my thoughts on Qatar economy class, well, you're in luck because that video is next. There won't be any awkward parts, but there will be Camden Food Company footage, and that alone should make it exciting and worth the watch. See you then.